to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Cycle live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Fauziya Lukman. The National Assembly has expressed readiness to launch an application known as NAS-EYES to monitor budget transparency and implementation by ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs out of government. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Okezie Kalu, made this known in Abuja, saying the initiative will also include adherence to the principle of federal character by affected MDAs. Kalu, who dropped the hints during the courtesy call, will actively check the performance of budgetary allocations to agencies of government. Meanwhile, the chairman, Senate Committee on Finance, Sani Musa, has said genuine and deliberate collaborative policy that will effectively address Nigeria's economy, challenges, and boost revenue generation. Musa explained this in a statement yesterday amid preparations by a joint committee of Senate, chaired by him, to engage heads of federal MDAs in an interactive policy public hearing this week on 2024 to 2026 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy papers. Chairman of the Fiscal to the Enhancement of Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. The statement released by Bede Anyanwu, head of Strategic Communication Directorate, highlighted the collaboration in the interactive session of the Senate Committee on Finance and National Assembly. Morocco said the Fiscal Responsibility Commission is a product of Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007, aiming to establish a transparent and accountable financial framework for Nigeria. He emphasized the FRC's core mandate, ensuring prudent, transparent, and timely revenue-raising policies, resources allocation decision, and debt management strategies. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has scheduled elections in some part of Kogi State for Saturday, November 18, 2023. INEC made the announcement on Sunday in a statement signed by spokesperson Mohammed Kudu Haruna. Further to statement yesterday, we have received an update from our Kogi State office regarding the suspension of election in some locations in the state where result sheets were completed before the commencement of voting, quote unquote, Haruna said. The Electoral Commission added that the most critical incident occurred in 9 out of 10 wards in Ogori, Magongo local government area of Kogi. Polling units and 15,136 registered voters remain suspended. In line with Section 24, Subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2022 and Clause 59 of INEC Regulations and Guidelines on Conduct of Election 2022, first election will be held on Saturday, 18 November 2023 in the affected polling units, INEC said. He further said that the decision to hold fresh elections is subject to returning officers' determination of the application of the margin of lead principle. However, the decision is without prejudice to INEC's avowed commitment to follow the audit trail of personnel and materials to ascertain those who have been under the sanctions when necessary. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has again adjourned the governorship election result from local government areas in Bayelsa State to 6 p.m. today. The state returning officer, Professor Kuta Farouk, announced this adjournment after the collation of results from Sagbama, Nengbe, and Ekeremo local governments. The 2 remaining local governments are Brass and Southern Ijaw. Similarly, the coalition of human activists and human rights defense in 36 states of the country. Over the years, kidnappings were reported in Zamfara State, which was the center of a multi-million-dollar kidnapping for ransom industry. The group also urged the state governor, Dr. Lawal, to focus on moving the state forward and further decried how insecurity had deteriorated in the state. Speaking at a press conference, that many people had lost their lives and property, adding that many people from the state were scared to visit due to insecurity. The military high command has refuted claims that they have. Speaking on this, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, noted that terrorist attacks softened surgeons of insecurity in the northern east were taking the fight to them, were also rooting them out. Also speaking on the military was doing to check the recruitment of children by the terrorists, Buba said. The military will elevate another aspect of counter-terrorism operations to stop that. The governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, had recently demanded an end to the recruitment of children by terrorists. You're watching Global TV News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. And those now showing on your screen. On the news cycle returns, full subsidy, forex liberalization likely driving inflation to 30% by December. The news continues shortly with details of this and other stories right after this short break. Please don't go away. Welcome back to Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of the news circle from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Despite the delay by President Bola to present the 2024 appropriation bill to the National Assembly, the federal lawmakers have promised to treat the document with urgency and ensure it beats the December 31st deadline. The Senate specifically assured Nigerians that the budget cycle as amended by the 9th Assembly to run from January to December would not fail. The 9th Assembly had in 2019 amended the 2020 appropriation bill from May-June cycle to January to December as the budget cycle. On the foreign scene, the latest negotiation towards a global treaty to combat plastic pollution opened in Nairobi on Monday, with tension expected as nations tussle over what should be included in the pact. Some 100 countries agreed last year to conclude by 2024 a United Nations treaty to combat the plastic blighting oceans, floating in the atmosphere and infiltrating the bodies of animals and humans. Negotiators have met twice already, but the November 13 to 19 talks are the first to consider a draft text of the treaty published in September and the policy options it contains. The draft presenting the various ways forward will form the basis for the high-stake deliberations at the UN Environment Programme UNEP headquarters in Nairobi. With more than 2,000 delegates registered and advocates from environment and plastic groups also in the room, the negotiations are expected to get heated as the details are hammered out. Major ports handling 40% of Australia's freight trade have reopened, operators DP World said Monday, 3 days after they were crippled by the cyber attack. DP World called its system from the internet when the attack was detected Friday, preventing trucks from uploading or picking up cargoes at ports Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Fremantle. DP World Australia is pleased to announce that operations resume at the company's port across Australia, the operator said in a statement. The firm said it has successfully tested key system overnight before reopening. It said it expected to move 5,000 containers out of the 4 terminals during the day, not far from industry estimate for their usual daily traffic. Australia's National Cybersecurity Coordinator Darren Goldie said DP World did the right thing by cutting off its internet access to prevent the attack from spreading. The Australian government called emergency meetings with the company and industry representatives over the weekend to manage its response. U.S. Senator Tim Scott announced on Sunday that he is withdrawing from the U.S. presidential race, saying voters had given him a clear message for not now. The South Carolina's lawmaker, who was running to become the first black Republican president, had been struggling to rise above the pack in the party's crowded field. Polling in 6th place among Republicans' primary candidates, the 51-year-old had only 2.5% of the vote, According to the Real Clear Politics average of recent major opinion polls, Scott officially announced he was running for the Republican nominations in May after spending months visiting state, considering crucial to gaining early momentum in the contest. During his campaign, he frequently underlined his Christian faith and conservative values he learned growing up in a poor single-parent household. Time to talk about some business now. Ahead of Tuesday's release of October 2023 inflation figures by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, Multinational Professional Services Network, KPMG, has said that headline inflation in Nigeria will reach 30% by December 2023. Nigeria current inflation rate for the month of September is 26.72%. KPMG, in its Microeconomic Review H1 2023 and Outlook for H2 2023, released at the weekend, anticipated the current inflationary pressures in the economy will persist into H2 2023. Stressing the headline and food inflations are unlikely to ease soon as the depreciation of the naira continues to reinforce the inflationary impact of fuel subsidy removal via high inputs and production costs caused by imported inflations. The report noted that recent reforms in the petroleum industry, like the fuel subsidy removal and unification of the foreign exchange market, will be responsible for the project spike up in price of goods and services. The Director General, National Pension Commission, Aisha Tahir Umar, has urged informal sector workers to embrace the micro-pension plan. Tahir Umar, who was represented by Head Southwest Zonal Office, PENCOM, Sola Adeshion, spoke during the Commission's special day at the Lagos International Trade Fair, organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Lagos, on Friday. According to her, the micro-pension plan was being embraced in Lagos, and the zonal office was intensifying efforts for creating more awareness of the plan within the Southwest geopolitical zone. The Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, has adjusted the foreign exchange rate for its tariffs and duties. The new rates were reflected on the single-window trade portal of the federal government. Rates vary from different items, typically from 5% to 35%, and are assessed with reference to the prevailing harmonized commodity and coding system, HS code. Last month, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, announced the lifting of ban on 43 items previously restricted from accessing forex. Consequently, the amount used to clear goods, including the 47 items that Nigerian ports have, increased. The Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has said it will use the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against the Crocodiles of Lesotho and Zimbabwe's national team to prepare for the Super Eagles for the 2024 African Cup of Nations billed to hold next year in Cote d'Ivoire. Those camps for the World Cup qualifiers opened yesterday in Uyo, with majority of players expected to arrive in the city today ahead of the first game in series against on Thursday. According to a program released by the Nigerian Football Association, NFF, Super Eagles full training will begin this evening at the Godswill